Shabbat Shalom, everybody, and you're welcome to the Shabbat of this morning. The Parashat that we are discussing about this morning is Parashat Behalotecha, which means when you rise up. But I subtitled the Parashat of this morning as From the Child Perspective, looking at some situation from the perspective of a child. Right? Not every time from the perspective of the mama or the perspective of the papa or the perspective of the parent. Sometimes you have to include in what you do the perspective of the children or of the child. Why is the child doing this, or why is the child doing that? She might be doing something that she doesn't understand or he doesn't understand. But when you want to make a judgment, when you want to reason, try to look at things sometimes from their perspective, because the way you were trained is different from the way that child is. Your generation is different from his or her generation at this time. So looking from the child perspective. No two eyes are alike, and no two people literally see eye to eye. There is a general understanding of concepts, of philosophy, understanding of laws that by and large people agree upon, but not necessarily exactly the same way. I think we can all agree that the way an adult views a situation will be very different than that of a child. This differentiation usually comes with greater clarity of focus as the child ages and years and mature in his thinking. But until that time comes, there will be many frustration, exhausting and upsetting battle between parent and child, teacher and student, and for that matter, between the growing adolescent and anyone in an authoritative position. Looking at the present time, I feel that teenagers now, where by far the worst as their brain develop critical thinking skill, learning on the job skills of how to argue and rationalize through every minute details of life. That is the perspective of the children. When we as parents, look at the perspective of children, we will see that their perspective is absolutely not of this world. Because our generation, they call us the old-fashioned, right? Because we reason in a different understanding in the generation where there was no internet at that time, where I wasn't taught about computer, right? Where I wasn't taught this quick way of things. Ice this, ice that, fast food, fast this. We weren't trained in such a way, right? In our generation, every time you want to eat, you have to cook, right? There is no fridge to keep your food, to cook for 1 week or 2 weeks and say want to go and store it and be taking it small by small. No. You have to do physical work every blessed day, right? You go to the farm, you pull your yam, you bring your yam home, you pan, you go to the forest, you kill the animal, you bring every day like that, non-stop. Or you have to eat, no? That is the idea. And when you go to school, I remember back home, we don't have screen. There is no screen. It's a black, they call it blackboard. It's a black, then there is a chalk, white. They write it like this. Okay, you don't see it, it's too bad for you. Right? That is the way ABC. That's where Aleph Beta. That's the way we're trained. That if you now bring a chalkboard now and put it for my son, he will think maybe whether you are smoking weed, because there's an issue with your head. Right? You say, what is this, Papa? What is going on? This is not the way we're taught. We have screen in our classroom. We even watch movie. Oh my. In my time, there's nothing like that in the school. You say you are watching movie in the school. It doesn't make sense to in my head. But for them, it makes sense. So you need to understand, looking at things sometimes in their perspective. Because the two generations are not the same. The two things are not the same. Without going into all the details, this is my personal experience now. Okay? Without going into all the details, I remember one such incident when one of my children was clearly in the puzzle wrong but saw emphatically differently. There's some argument with one of my child. So it was an issue of substance for me, because for that child, I want that child to understand what I see, right? But she doesn't see it or in the way that I'm seeing it. So what did I do? For me, it's a contrary to many. It was an issue of substance, contrary to the many trivial things we had likely discussion about. Due to the importance of this subject, I sought out the guidance from my Rabbi. I clearly lay out the two sides of the argument or dispute that I had with my teenage child. I was sure that my Rabbi, knowing I was in the right, would give me some advice and clever strategy of dealing with the circumstances at hand, with the situation at hand. To my great surprise and initial disappointment, not only did he not give me any strategy or even basic advice on what I was asking him, in a unique way, he sided with the child. So my Rabbi words were very clear. And this is what he said. We need to look at the situation through the child's eyes, using phrases such as in her mind, from her perspective, and where the child is coming from. This was truly an eye-opener for me. Why do we as parents need to look at the story or situation from the kids or from the child perspective? At first, I looked and bewildered. You know, like, aren't the parents always right? And what about the notion that children should listen to what the parents say, regardless of where the child is coming from? My puzzle look then gave way to a look of, maybe my Rabbi is right, and is always right for me. And look at the things from a different perspective, using a more objective manner, bringing our child input of the situation into the discussion. This is my own personal experience. And the Rabbi is giving me this teaching that not everything must be looked from the parent perspective. Not everything in life must be looking from the papa or the mama perspective. But sometimes we need to take the perspective of our children, of that child, of that girl, of that boy, include, because if you want to completely reject their perspective, they will grow up and become antagonists. Because they will say, my papa, my mama does not understand my word, which is absolutely true. Because your generation is not the same with their generation. It's not the same. So if we always want to gauge everything from our own perspective, from our own generation perspective, we will mix the mark. That is the idea. And this is where Moshe Rabbeinu is also coming from for the people in this Parashat. The people did a lot of wrong things. The people made a lot of wrong choices. But Moshe, as a man who is advanced, right, who understands, who is older than them, understands, oh, I cannot look at everything from my own perspective. Remember that these people, they've never tasted anything good in their life. They were slaves. Moshe wasn't a slave. He was never a slave. Right? He was a prince. He was living in the palace. They never lived in the palace. Right? They worked their back out. I'm telling you, they ask, I don't even know, Shako is flatter than them. Because they stay in the sun, bathe them in and out. Working in the field. No? Moshe didn't do that. So if Moshe wants to judge everything from his own perspective as a prince, then he's going to mix the mark. Because the mentality of you as a general, the mentality of you as a leader is different from the mentality of these slave people. who only depend upon the master to direct them. Only the master, what the master say, that is it. But now, Moshe is trying to tell them, to teach them that you are no longer a slave. You are not the master of yourself. You have to think as the master. And you have to think as a worker at the same time. No longer as a worker now, but as both. So therefore they make a lot of mistakes. And Moshe has to come and say, God, if you will not forgive them, remove my name. If you not go to do this for me, or to me because of them. Because I'm trying to look at this thing, this situation, this way from their own perspective, not from my own perspective, from the perspective of the slave. So we as parents have to look at situations not always from our own perspective, not always from our generational perspective, but from the new perspective, from their own understanding, implying that we can be able to take those positive things in their life, in their perspective, and join it with our own positive thing of our own perspective and give it over to the children. Not just rejecting everything that is in their own generation. I say it's all bad. It's not everything that is bad in their own generation. There are positive things, there are good things there that we can take. We remove the bad thing, even though in our own generation there is not everything that is good. We remove the bad one, we take the good one, combine the two good, and then make it a soup for the children that we can give it to them and they can eat and they will have life abundantly. We are all influenced by our peers, which is true, by our own surroundings, and by the information we read and hear about. One of the most convincing of ideas and beliefs is seeing something, as the old saying goes. Seeing is believing. The Hebrew people historically have made decisions, both good and bad, based upon circumstances that are thought were very clear. One instance which caused catastrophic damage was the image that the evil one drew for the people, showing that Moshe Rabbeinu was dead after the Israelites miscalculated the timing of his return down from Sinai, from the mountain of Sinai. Yet there is another vision that appeared in the Torah that helped Israel in their traversing the danger of the desert. We can see that they made good choices by donating all what they have for the building of the Mishkan. That was good. And they also made bad choices by building golden calf, right? To do what? To serve, because they miscalculate the time that Moshe Rabbeinu will come down. And they begin to dance and play Wodon. That is bad. But you see, if we look at from the perspective of the slave, remember, I said, look at, even though you say, me, I can't do that. Me, I'm telling you, if the same situation happens, we will all do the same thing. I'm telling you. Because people that have been oppressed, people that have been slaves for all these hundreds of years, suddenly, openly, overnight, became free. Right? So that freedom is the drug that we say, hey, I am free. So they don't understand. They say that freedom comes with no responsibility. They don't know that freedom is responsibility. They don't understand that. Suddenly they were completely, these are people that are very, very poor. Suddenly they become what? They become rich. It's like a man that win the lottery, $1 billion overnight. And he's a man that cleans the floor. What do you think he's going to do? This is money. That is why most of them go back again to become a poor man. Because they don't understand how to use it. It comes overnight. That is the idea. So they became rich overnight and they don't know what to do with it. So anything that comes, they just spend. They don't think. Because they don't know how to use it well. They don't understand. And so we need to understand this understanding. So Moshe was a man who tried to understand not only from his own perspective, but tried to consider the perspective of these slaves, of these men, these women, these people that just came out, become free overnight, and they don't know what to do with their freedom. And they misuse the freedom. It's always like that in the history of a man. So these are very, very important for us to understand. In this week Parashat, Behalotecha, in Bamidbar, in the book of Numbers, chapter 9, verse 15, this is what it said. On the day that the tabernacle was erected, the cloud covered the tabernacle, the tent of meeting. Then in the evening, there was something that appears to be like fire on the tabernacle, remaining there until morning. The narration continues in chapter 9, verse 16. From then on, it remained that way. There was a cloud covering it by day, and fire like partition by night. I repeat. And the fire like, it's not a fire, a fire like. That's what the Torah said. And the fire like partition by night. The Targum, Yohan's son Ben Uzel, is a rabbi. The mark that it is possible that the cloud remained and also are also there at night. Now, in the Talmud, the Midrash Rabbi gave us this rhetorical expression. He asked rhetorically, what does look like fire mean? What does it mean? What is the meaning of that word? It looks like fire, but it's not a fire, but it looks like a fire. What does it mean? The word it teaches us that if the cloud was whitish, then the people knew that the sun is rising. When the cloud looked reddish, then the people knew, or they know, that the sun is setting. It's a form of telling the people the actual time of the day when you are in the desert. You know, okay, it's the sunrise in the morning. See, the cloud is what? It's whitish. In the evening, if you look at the cloud, there's a time me and my wife were in Cuba. I've never seen a sunset like that in my life. I took the picture, even a video. It was awesome. You can see the glory. You can see the ray of the sun. Like, oh man. The cloud was reddish. And if you look at it, this is a fire. I can't even explain it. It's beautiful. So that might be something of such case that the people were seeing. But as the people could not explain perfectly well, they wrote what they can explain, what they can understand. Here in the desert, there was only one cloud that served both during the day and through the night, similar to what the Midrash said. This cloud in the Midbar, in the desert, in the wilderness, was there leading the Israelites at night, but it appeared as fire in the night. There was a perception among the people that this nighttime pillar was a fire, but in reality, it was just the same cloud like the one in the morning. The appearance of the cloud at night was a fire as viewed by the end of the book of Shemot. That was written at the end of the book of Shemot. The cloud of God was over the Mishkan during the day, and fire in it at night, referring to the same cloud itself. The cloud is the true essence of where God was found. That is the idea. But we can understand what in the Messianic writing, in the book of Revelation, in the book of the prophet, in all the revelation, in everything, you see that, and in the midst of the throne, I say what? Appearance of a fire. It looks like a fire, and in it is thunder. In it is like voice, like cloud, like everything. In the mountain, the same thing. When God descended on the mountain, and there was cloud covering what? The mountain. And out of the cloud is thunder, lightning, sparkling. And they appear like the glory of the living God. So it's teaching us. It's not two different things. Because some people say, oh, this is two different gods, or this is two different actions. It's the same thing, it's the same God. His action is awesome. And he's telling us that if we can understand, looking at things from the perspective of the children, Moshe understood all those principles that is coming up, that is happening. But the people who are children doesn't understand. They understand from a child perspective. Right? Moshe went up, no? And God told him, design the menorah the way I showed you. Did God show the people the menorah? No. Now, if you ask the people, what is the menorah? The people will say, oh, I just the gold was attached to like this, and they will try to explain the way they understand, because they were not explained to how that thing has to be made. But for Moshe, he saw it clearly, and it was designed to him how it has to be made. And they explained to him the purpose of the menorah. The people doesn't understand the purpose of the menorah. They don't see it as what? He put light. He give light to the holies of holies. And to them, that is how they will explain it. But if you ask Moshe, what is the purpose of the menorah? Moshe can give you a deeper understanding of what it means. Moshe says, oh, this is not just a golden bar. Actually, it represents the Spirit of God. See, how can you represent the Spirit of God? Then Moshe will say, okay, the number one flower is this. This is his name. The number two flower, this is his name. The number three, all of them has names one by one. Hey, okay. You see? But the people don't know that because they were not taught in that way. So Moshe has more advanced understanding, insight than the people. So therefore, we as a parent, we have more insight because of what? Because of our experience. Because of what we've seen in life than the child that just growing up. So therefore, don't reject or kick the idea of the child. No. Take the idea of the child. Wash it. Remove the negative out of it. There's always positive. I'm telling you. In every negative is positive. In every positive, there's also negative. You have to understand that. So remove the negativity out of it. Take the positive. Take your own positive. Mix the two positives together. Positive plus positive become positive. Right? You mix it together. You make a soup out of it. You know a soup? Soup. Food. Make a food out of it and give it to the child. And let the child eat. And the child will have life. Positivity. Don't just kick it out and say, this your generation is bad. Condemn everything about their generation. No, don't condemn it. There's something good about it. So therefore, let's see. This is what it says now. Be that at okay, sorry. Here, okay. Be that as it may, what was the benefit for Israel to perceive the cloud as fire instead of the same cloud from the day? The Sage, word of Rabbi, explained like this. The appearance of the cloud as fire remained even when the Israelites camped and were stationary. Initially, we thought the fire was necessary at night to light up the road when they travel. That is not the case, the Rabbi explained. As the fire, the cloud that looked like a fire was seen even at night, because nighttime is filled with fear and worry. At night, a person thinks of his sins and is nervous. At night, the vision of seeing a fire was a protection for the Israelites at night to do teshuvah. That is how the Rabbi explained it. And I'm coming to tell us his own perspective. As the fire will remind them of the fires of Gehinnom. A preventative measure from sinning is when one thinks of the fire of Gehinnom. The fire will wear off evil spirit and any bad thought of sin that might come to mind during the night. This is the Rabbi's perspective, his own personal interpretation of that understanding. He said this: the fire at night, people thought, is to lead us that's what the Torah says, to lead us at the Israelite journey day and night, right? Non-stop. Because the fire in the cloud in the day do what? Guide them, and the fire by night lead them, so that they can be able to see road and walk day by day. But this Rabbi is giving us a more deeper spiritual understanding. He said this, that also might not be the only explanation. That another explanation is this, that fire at night is very, very important, because it wears off evil spirit. And what is the meaning of the evil spirit or evil thought? Most of us, we can understand it very, very well. The most dangerous time of anyone's life, every day, every second, is in the night. Why in the night? Because in the night is time when you are calm. Okay? You sit down, you relax, you are calm, and you sleep. And when you are about to sleep, you begin to think of weird things. Because it's calm, no noise. In the day, you can't reason well as the way you reason at night. At night, you can reason very well because it's very, very calm. No noise. Right? So now you can be able to, people, you say, okay, instead of them to be thinking positive in their head, they begin to think on how to do bad things, evil things. They begin to calculate their steps on how to do negativity, not positivity. And so therefore, the Rabbi is saying that fire at night, tell the people, make them to fear, to think negative in their head. So therefore, it's saving them. The fire is actually to rescue, to save them, to protect them from themselves. Because in the night, you know, this Moshe Rabbeinu, and then he's just taking us through this. He doesn't give us this, he doesn't give us that. Every day, work. We are tired. All kind of murmuring and mumbling can come up in the night. And it's also to remove them from committing iniquity. Because when you see the fire reminds you of the fire of Gehinnom. Right? So that, because if this fire is like this, then the one in Gehinnom is 100 million times even worse. And I don't want to go to the Gehinnom. So your mind, because you are seeing that light, that fire, your mind is calm and your mind is relaxed, and your mind will not think about anything that is negative. That is the Rabbi's explanation. The mind is a powerful tool that perceives things that are there or may not be there. When it comes to business and circular things in life, a person will be open to hearing and listening to another perspective and see that person's perception of the situation. In spiritual matter, when a person is already in the position of seeing himself in a certain way, he should not leave things to be his or her own perception, but rather get guidance from an objective viewpoint. Let's grow up and not act like a child who can only see it in his or her own way. Let rather be open to ask what the proper way of seeing and doing things is or are. When it comes to children, take into account their perception and empower them, but ultimately use that perception and empowerment to lead them to the correct and true conclusion. That is what I want to tell us this morning. Empower your children. Don't always, march them down. Empower them. Let them have some free space to think by themselves. I know we as parents, we want to always protect, we don't want them to make mistakes at all. Absolutely. That is the way I always tell my children. In my house, there is one principle that is very, very important for me. And I always say, no mistake. No mistake. Why am I trying to build that in them? No mistake. Because before you make a step, I want you as my son or as my daughters to think 100 million times. Don't just make step and say, I didn't know. I don't like that. Think very well before you make a step. So when you think, calculate, make your mind must be supercomputer. Make jamming all kind of what can happen. What is this process? What is this process? Before you can make a conclusion, say, okay, I'm making a step. It might look stupid. It might look, oh, you are too slow. You are not slow. You understand what you are doing very, very well. Because by the time you make a mistake, it will draw you back 10,000 years again. And you say, oh, I'm fast, but you're not fast. Your mistake that you make will always draw you back. And you will take your time. But when you think very well, even though if you make a mistake, you know that, okay, this is actually what causes that mistake. You can pinpoint where the mistake is coming from. I was showing my children yesterday a kind of operation that we did. I have never seen such a thing in my life. Never. The spinal cord. In it, there are fibers. There are a lot of them bundled. I'm not. We use electronic microscope to see. I said the work of God is awesome. All those wires, everything wire from the brain to every part of the human body, and it just bundled like this inside the spinal cord, right? And we need to figure out where the pain of this child is coming from. We need to use shock to look where the pain. Look, checking those neurons one by one. 8 hours it takes. Incredible. So this is what. So when it takes them, like you see the doctor say, if you call the child, we can say what he kaput. No, they need to take time. It's not. It look like it's slow, but it's not slow. When you pinpoint where the issue is, next time I don't do that again. But because you are too fast, you don't know what you are doing, then begin to now go back and begin to no mistake. I'm not talking about that no zero mistake. Me myself, I make mistakes. But if I make a mistake, I can go back and say, okay, I cancel this one, I cancel this one, I cancel this one, I cancel this one. Which one I did not cancel? Okay. I pinpoint where the issue is. Okay, this is where the problem is. And now next time, I don't do that. But if you cannot pinpoint where the issue or the problem is, you keep on doing that, remain in that particular position forever, because you cannot pinpoint. You think you are fast, but you are not fast. See, that is what I'm trying to let us know. Moshe understood that principle very well. The people, they don't, because they were slaves. Moshe understood. Okay, 40 days, 49. Hey, no, come. It's too hot, it's too late. No, stop rushing. Where are you going? There is entire life for you. Why are you rushing? Do not rush. Take it step by step, one by one at a time. Nothing in this life that concludes rushing. Wait for God's time. Remember, I always tell us, God is never late. God is never early. God is at the right time. That is it. So once you understand those things, you will think, okay, yes, this way I was wrong here. I can see where the issue is. Next time I will adjust it. That will never happen. And next time when the situation come again, because they always reappear again, they always repeat itself. Oh, I understand. The bell will ring in your head. I will not do this again because I know where the problem is. You know where the hole are. You understand. So just before we close, I will give a small story. There's a time me and my wife we went to Africa, and there is a truck. You can ask her. I'm telling you, this truck, half of the body is gone. This truck has no light. The light in the front, no light at the back. There's a lot of wood, that was on top of the truck. So, but to my surprise, the whole road is filled with holes. But the most surprising thing to me, it was in the front, and we're following it. And this man that has no light was able to identify where each hole are. I will never forget that in my entire life. How did he do that? Why? Because the man is the master of that road. He knows in his mind, every map of that road is there. He knows where all the holes are, and was able to bypass it. And we who doesn't know, we're just entering the hole with light, with everything. Boom, boom, boom. What is going on here? Can you follow that man? Because the man plan. The people, they don't know. They don't understand. But he understood everything. And he saw things from their perspective. If my driver that was driving me that night was able to understand the perspective of that driver, he wouldn't be entering those holes. I'm telling you, I came out, my backbone was completely gone. I was tired. He didn't understand. He never rode past that road before. But that man has been passing me for, I don't know, years. So he knows all those things. So my people, Parashat Behalotecha, seeing things from the perspective of our children. Not only from our own perspective. Let's see things from their perspective and let's encourage them. Let's empower them. And that will help them to grow to become a man, a woman, a people of God. Shabbat Shalom.